So, as many of you are aware, Canada is heading to the polls on April 28th in a general election. An election in which we will be choosing our next prime minister. And that's a person who's going to be relied upon to help guide us through what I think most people can agree are going to be some pretty turbulent times. So I think it's worth a couple of minutes to reflect upon the essential character that our next prime minister should exhibit, regardless of the policies that they support. And I think that most of us can agree that at a bare minimum, any good leader, and definitely the next prime minister of Canada, should exhibit sound judgment and have a strong moral center. And I don't think I'm setting the bar too high here. I feel that these are the most basic criteria that we should demand of our next prime minister. And that brings me to Pierre Poilievre, the progressive conservative candidate hoping to lead Canada. Poilievre's a man who historically has admired and supported Donald Trump. Poilievre has praised Trump as a businessman and praised Trump's style of politics, a style that he mimics. So let's analyze this praise in terms of Poilievre and his judgment and his moral character. In a recent interview, as recent as January of 2025, Poilievre said this of Donald Trump, the businessman, and I quote, "He spent his life as a highly successful businessman." Really, Pierre? A highly successful businessman? Trump has had 15 very prominent businesses fail. He's filed corporate bankruptcy 6 times. Trump and Trump companies have been convicted criminally 17 times and have been found civilly liable in countless other cases. Trump has had countless lawsuits against him for not paying his vendors, his contractors, and not delivering on promises to the patrons of his many failed businesses. Many of these hardworking people were left destitute. Trump currently owes the state of New York nearly $500 million for civil fraud. And as a landlord, he was sued for racial discrimination, and rather than face the court ruling, he decided he better settle. And all this failure, despite starting out with an estimated $413 million of daddy's dollars. So can we trust Poilievre's judgment if he thinks this describes a highly successful businessman? Can we trust Poilievre to be at the helm of Canada's economy if this is his idea of business success? So what about Poilievre's praise of Donald Trump, the politician? Well, as president, Donald Trump has publicly stated that he is above the law. Think about that. Donald Trump has a neo-Nazi as one of his key advisors. Donald Trump is a pathological liar with over 30,500 verified lies in his first term alone. Think about that. That's more than one lie for every hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for his 4-year first term. As president, Donald Trump has declared his aggressive intent, including potential military force towards Greenland and Panama. And as president, Donald Trump has ridiculed the men and women of the American Armed Forces, calling them suckers and losers. These are men and women who have sacrificed everything for the love of their country. So can we trust Poilievre's moral character if Trump is a politician that he praises and admires? Donald Trump is a racist. Trump is a misogynist. Trump is a pathological narcissist, and he has a pathological need for revenge. And the list goes on. And taken alone, any one of these actions and characteristics should give a person with sound judgment and a strong moral character cause to denounce Trump, but not Pierre Poilievre. Poilievre praises and admires Trump and mimics his political style. Pierre Poilievre either suffers from extremely poor judgment or has very low moral character. I suspect both. And don't fall for Poilievre's big talk in recent weeks about his opposition to Trump. He's done so only when the polls suggested it was in his own best interest. After years of support of Donald Trump, Poilievre has already proven he doesn't have the judgment or moral standing to govern this great country. It's the long-standing support of characters like Pierre Poilievre and other conservative politicians that's allowed Donald Trump to be reelected and has emboldened him to the extent that he is in full dictator mode and is now turning his predatory sights on Canada, on our sovereignty and on our freedom. But together, as a community, we can keep Canada strong. We can keep Canada free, and we can keep Canada compassionate. So remember, on April 28th, vote from your heart and not from the fear and the hate and the aggression that too many politicians try to instill in you. Thanks for your time.